You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called Food for Life. It's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio Heather Barrow. How are you going, Heather?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Ken?
Oh, good. All the better for seeing you. You know that. Now, we're going to talk about Christmas. This is the Christmas edition of your show. But before we get to that, just remind our listeners what your program is all about.
It's all about healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, taking care of the body, just trying to educate people on things that they can do and, different health conditions out there and how to approach them.
And we're coming up to that time of the year where we tend to let diets sort of fly out the window because it's all about good food, good wine, good company, nuts, donuts, fatty foods, all the stuff that I love that we should be looking at possibly in moderation. But how do we get through Christmas healthily?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things you can do. So, I think in New Zealand in particular, Christmas parties are a huge thing.
Yeah.
I when I first moved here, it was like, invites to all these different parties, and in the States, I don't remember it being quite like that. So there's a lot of different events that can go on, and, of course, Christmas, you think, let's indulge in a treat or two or three or four.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but the more parties you go to, Christmas Day, it can really start to add up. And then at the end of the holiday, you're thinking, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're now in January and New Year's, and now I'm feeling not that great, and I put on this weight, and now what do I do? So I'm not saying don't indulge and don't enjoy, but there's some things that you can do along the way just to kind of help you not go overboard.
Can we be tricked into a false sense of security? I know that one of my colleagues at work quite likes eating those healthy snacks. It might be dried apple or dried apricots. Are they as good? Are they as good or as bad as having a chippy or two?
It's hard to compare dried fruit to chips. The dried fruit's really high in sugar, concentrated sugar, and chips, you've got hydrogenated oils. So, neither's that great having a lot of, but yeah, I'd probably go for a bit more of the dried fruit. Yeah,
but you can, I think I agree with you. But is that the thing that they'd say? Oh, look, here's some dried apples, and you eat a whole packet of them. That's about as bad as eating a whole packet of chippies, isn't it?
It's probably about as much as having a whole can of Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, sugar-wise.
Yeah.
Probably more, actually.
So
dried fruit's loaded with sugar.
So what's a good yin on that one?
Just have a few pieces.
It's impossible. It's like having one chippy. No one can have one chippy.
Well, I have a bag of dried pears.
Yeah.
A bag in my desk, and after I have my lunch, I want something sweet, and so I'll just have one or two pieces of dried pear.
Yeah.
And it's just so sweet. I couldn't actually eat any more.
You must have a will of iron. It's like people saying, "Oh, I'm just going to have one square of chocolate."
I know. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so as we come up towards Christmas, talk us through some good nutritional food diets or meals that we might look at preparing to keep us fit and healthy.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to talk about being mindful in your eating.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just inhale food.
Of course.
We don't chew it, we don't taste it, we don't feel the texture in our mouth. It's just we're really hungry, we shove it in, that's it.
Yes, we do.
But I want people to actually enjoy their food. You're feeding the body, taste it, enjoy it, because then you eat too fast and you don't get that feeling of being full, and then you overeat.
Yes.
So when you savor your food, you're going to enjoy it a lot more. You're going to be satisfied. You're not going to overeat.
It's a learned thing, though, isn't it? You say it like it sounds so simple to do. Chew your food 30 times because I know that's what you recommend, but no one does that.
Yeah.
How do you learn to do that? Do you do that? Do you chew your food 30 times?
I have learned to do it.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. It does. It takes, they say it takes 90 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
So it's something to practice and be mindful of. And again, that's not with every food.
No, of course. You wouldn't chew a chip 30 times, would you?
No.
Like
and you
French
wouldn't chew a smoothie, and you wouldn't chew soup and
yes, that's true.
Soft food like that. But but before you eat, also ask yourself, am I really hungry? Or something else going on? Have I had water today? Maybe I'm actually really thirsty.
Yeah.
So, be mindful of that. Maybe you're bored or stressed and you're eating, because of that. So step back and just be mindful.
Does the small plate trick work? A smaller plate full, is that psychologically, does that work on you?
Studies have shown that it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never actually bought smaller plates. My plates are huge. But yeah, you look at a huge plate and you put so much food on and it looks, this looks empty.
Yes.
So why not get a smaller plate, same amount of food, and then you're tricking your brain into thinking I'm having a really big meal.
Indeed, but I quite often see, I'm quite a fan of those food programs, to be quite honest, even though I don't eat the gourmet foods myself, but I often say to my wife, when you see a tiny steak on a ginormous plate, psychologically I would want more. Even though that steak might be enough for me, I think, well, there's nothing there. So yeah, I suppose it's about mind games, isn't it?
It is, and I love those cooking shows as well, like Master Chef. And
yeah, same.
Like Kitchen Rules and all that. And you're right, like fine quality food, they do a small amount, and they usually use a smaller plate. But they also really, when you see the judges, tasting it, they eat so slowly. They're really chewing it. They're closing their eyes. How does it smell? Actually, oftentimes they pick up the plate and they smell it first.
I've noticed that, yes.
And then they're really savoring it, the textures and the appearance and the smell. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the other handy tips that you've got there for us?
Well, slowing down, like you've already mentioned, chewing your food. And one good way to do that, I think a lot of clients have found it helpful. In New Zealand, you eat with your fork on the other side.
Yes.
And in the States, it's very different how we eat. But put everything down in between bites. So, cut up your bite, have it, and then put it down. And even if you live by yourself, I think that's a really good thing to do because it's so easy just to sit in front of the TV and just keep it going.
Yeah.
So if you put everything down, it reminds you to chew your food.
Do you think you need to explain yourself when you're out in company? Because people think that you're a bit nuts when you do that sort of stuff. Always.
To what extent?
Do you think people might think you're a bit nuts when you're doing that? You eat something, then you put everything down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot in Europe, though, I noticed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, dining is a culture to them, isn't it? Eating is a culture, whereas us, it's sort of like a necessity. Let's eat and get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at Christmas. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of New Zealand families, food just keeps coming.
Yeah.
I know when I first got here, it was like, that's what we do on Christmas Day. We eat all day.
Yes.
And it just keeps coming. You have this special, ham and cheese croissants at breakfast, and everything keeps coming out, and all these sweet trays, and woo.
It's not a bad thing, though, is it? I think that, and we've talked about diets many, many times over the years that you've been doing this program, and that even if you are on a diet or looking nutritionally, trying to look after yourself, every once in a while you've got to have a bit of a blowout, don't you? So maybe that one day you say, okay, well, let's just go for it. And, tomorrow we get back into our exercise. But if you're thinking about Christmas Day and think, oh, well, what shouldn't I eat?
Yeah, don't think about what shouldn't I eat.
Yeah.
Just, there's lots of things you can eat, and I'll talk about that. But if you have a favorite, like, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite Christmas treat?
Well, look, I'd be happy with a ham sandwich. Some ham, white bread, real butter, yum.
Okay. That's not too unhealthy, minus the white bread,
yeah.
really.
That's half the pleasure gone.
Yeah. I think mine would be, what are those treats? Oh, I'm drawing a blank now. The caramelized little rolls with cream in the middle.
Oh, yes, brandy snaps.
Brandy snaps.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Never
God,
had them
delicious.
until I got to New Zealand.
Yeah,
those I love.
Yeah, and you can't just have one of those.
No, actually, I can't either.
No. My wife loves them, but she likes them to go soggy first. I like them crunchy. She likes them soggy.
If you leave them and over in the fridge, they get soggy.
That's right. And
I like them both ways. That's how much I like them.
but that's a good point. But there's no way you can deny yourself those. You can have them, aren't you?
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
I make them every year.
Yeah.
For the family, they come over. I love them.
They love them.
That's
it's the same
fun.
with pavlovas and ice cream and.
Yeah.
We love that. And the other thing is that, again, over the years I've learned through programs like this that I used to think, okay, well, if I'm on a diet, I want to cut out the junk. Because I've got a will of iron, personally. I can just stop eating if I need to. But I would think, oh, yeah, I'm just going to eat fruit. Well, that's as fattening, if you eat a lot of it, as anything, because of the sugar content, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you overdose on fruit, you can just get fat.
You sure can overdose on fruit. And, men 40, 45 grams of sugar a day, women 30, 35, 6 teaspoons versus 9 for men. And, an average piece of fruit, apple, banana, orange, you're getting about 10 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
So, that's 1/4 of your sugar for the day.
Absolutely. So you think you're doing yourself a favor when you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everything in moderation.
That's right. So, when you go to a party or you're going to a party, why not bring a plate that you know is healthy?
Yes.
You don't know that there's going to be healthy food there, so why not I always bring like a veggie platter.
Really?
With a fun dip. No? Maybe a little bit of dried fruit, maybe some lunch meat on it, some cheeses, but some vegetables on there as well.
Yes.
And oftentimes, I will not go to a party starving.
No, not a good idea.
I'll have a trick is just have a little bit of fiber, protein right before you go. Maybe it's, I don't know, some carrots or, that's not a great example, little small salad or half a sandwich.
Yeah.
Don't go starving because chances are there's going to be all these enticing,
all those yummy foods,
finger foods,
yeah,
fried, cheese, dips, chips.
What about that old trick they say, I've never tried it myself because I don't drink water, but they say drink a glass of water before your meal and that'll make you feel full. Does that work?
It does. Yeah, it does fill up your stomach.
Yeah.
Of course, for me, I always tell my clients, try not to drink with your meals, but, that's another good tip is go to a party. Your chances are you're going to be drinking alcohol as well.
Sure.
Why not load up on some hydration beforehand, chug a few glasses of water?
Yeah. When you say don't drink while you're eating, is that across the board? So don't drink water, don't drink wine, don't drink beer, just eat?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, at Christmas time, come on, everyone's going to have wine and beer while they're eating.
Yes, sure.
You can't avoid it, but you don't want to dilute your stomach acids with liquid. So the general rule is, 15 minutes before a meal, try to avoid liquids. Try to avoid them while you're eating, and then try and wait 20 to 30 minutes after.
Sure.
So more often than not, if you can do that.
Very good advice there. What else is happening?
True. Yeah, alternating as well, because you're going to get a lot of, for the New Zealanders that really like to have a few drinks, you're going to get a lot of empty calories in that way. So I recommend maybe have one or have two drinks, and then have soda water or a glass of water. And that way you're kind of spacing it out, and you're staying hydrated. Chances are you're going to drink less as well. Yeah.
And we do start drinking early. It's nothing for people to have a glass of champagne on Christmas breakfast.
Yeah.
And bubbles with strawberries, and then they're continually drinking all day.
That's
Not
right.
me, because I'm old pious Pete, but, I have an orange juice. But, yeah, and again, it's probably not a bad idea to maybe skip a meal that you're having with it. Not skip the meal, but skip the alcohol with the meal.
Yeah, and a lot of times people, if they start their day with bubbles and sweets, it's all over for the rest of the day. It kind of sets it up for I'll just grab whatever and eat whatever. And you know what? It's okay to have a day like that.
Of course.
So don't feel bad. Don't feel guilty. Tomorrow's a new day.
Why do we always feel tired after a big lunch? Traditionally I don't eat lunch at all, but why when you have lunch on Christmas Day do you always feel like going to bed or having a nap? Is there something that inside your body that's saying, hey, it's telling you to slow down, I suppose?
Maybe from overeating? I don't know. We don't eat much turkey in New Zealand.
No.
I know in the States it's like everyone's asleep from all the tryptophan in the turkey.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
think too that you have so much more sugar around Christmas that you don't realize. Your blood sugar levels are kind of going up and down.
Yeah.
So they go up real quick. You have a glass of champagne, they're going to drop really low.
Okay. What about our exercise regime coming up to the holiday times?
Yeah. Well, don't do what I did one year, and I overindulged on a meal. This was when I was much younger at Christmas, and about half an hour later, I said, I got to go for a run. I got to run this off. Not a good idea.
No,
so
it's not a good idea.
Maybe save the run for the next day. But yeah, I think, why not? Keep up your exercise routine.
Yeah.
That's going to help. That's going to not force you, but guide you to want to make healthier choices as well. I know you're a runner.
Yeah.
So the more active you are, I feel, the more healthier you want to be, and you kind of crave those foods.
Yes.
You're pushing your body harder, so you actually want the nutrients from that veggie platter versus that bowl of chips.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what if you're recommending that we cut back a little bit or don't overindulge? If you were saying to someone, "Look, take this absolutely either in moderation or take it out of your diet," what would it be as we come up towards Christmas?
Take something out of your
Yeah,
diet.
what would you take out?
Oh, that's a bit tough. I would say the main thing to look out for is your sugar content, really. Yeah, and not obsess over it, but realize, everything has sugar, and to be aware, so, you're buying a bag of brandy snaps,
Yes.
how much sugar is in each one of those rolls?
Not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, so I'm not saying cut it out, but I think just be more mindful of how much you're actually having.
I mean, you're a nutritionist. Why is sugar the new enemy when it always used to be salt?
I don't know if it's the new enemy. I feel like it's been an enemy for a while. Yeah, too much salt, too much sugar. I think people, a lot of companies are taking things out of foods. They're taking the fat out, the whole low-fat era, and they're replacing it with something.
Yeah.
They have to, and it's usually salt or sugar.
Bit of fat's good for you, though, isn't it? Got to have fat.
Yeah, healthy fats, absolutely.
Yeah.
And healthy fats in the way of, healthy oils like coconut oil, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, actual avocados, nuts and seeds.
But again, this is a classic. I mean, it's like saying just have one square of chocolate. No one can eat just one nut. Nuts are delicious, but if you have too many nuts, well, that's not good for you either, is it?
No. So maybe don't open a bag and have it sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
And not be mindful. So open a bag, sit in front of the TV, and just, here we go. Open it, put it in a bowl, go away, separate the rest of the food.
Is there anything that you can eat a lot of? For instance, I've just recently discovered roasted pumpkin seeds. My God, are they delicious or what?
Oh.
How many of those can you eat at a sitting?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Did you ever indulge?
They're so expensive you wouldn't want to overindulge too much, but they're delicious as a snack.
Absolutely.
Have you tried them?
So just the green seeds or in the shell?
No, the little green seeds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're delicious roasted.
I'll roast nuts and seeds all the time. It is delicious.
It is, yeah.
I love walnuts with a little bit of maple syrup.
Oh, right, never
and
tried
then
that.
Roast those.
Yeah. I love walnuts with a little bit of salt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet and salty, so you could use maple syrup and salt.
You must try that. Have them
Yeah.
both together. Is that a Canadian thing?
I'm from the
Yeah, I know,
States.
but maple comes from Canada, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. What will you miss most about the US type of Christmas? Apart from it's going to be boiling over here, of course.
I think, just the family and friends and the atmosphere for me. So my husband's from the UK, I'm from the States. We're used to snow and cold and hot chocolate and bundling up, by the fire.
Yeah.
And that's Christmas.
Yes.
So I've been here 11 years and it still is very difficult to adjust.
Would you have a different type of diet? I mean, if we take the healthy side of it all out of it at the moment, how do our Christmas diets compared to American diets? Like, I mean, here we have ham. It's mainly it's our treat on Christmas Day, isn't it? But over there it's turkey, isn't it?
No, we do ham.
Do you ham as well?
Ham and turkey normally. Yep.
What about your sweets? Did you have brandy snaps over there? Or?
No.
No.
See, I think one thing about New Zealand they do very well is the bakeries and all the different variety of sweets. It kind of almost, in a way, hopefully there's no French people listening, reminds me of France.
Yes.
Because they might disagree.
Yeah.
But, I remember when I got here and it was like Heaven's Bakery and I thought, oh my gosh, look at all this variety of all these different sweets. Like, in the States you don't actually see that very often. However, in the States we do things like donuts better.
Yeah, but you don't have pies, do you?
No.
Why don't you do pies?
No, that's a Kiwi thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like pot pies that you can buy frozen and then put in the oven, but it's nothing like this.
Do they have pastry on top of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, covered in pastry, but they're usually frozen. There's no pie shops that I know of.
Oh, it's hard to believe in this day and age.
Yeah.
It's the 21st century,
I know.
Yeah, is their pastry as good as ours?
No, I think New Zealand really does baked goods very well. I shouldn't say this as a nutritionist, but I remember when I first got here, I liked my first pie was a chicken and camembert.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah. I know you can get addicted to pies. And well, I mean, if you deconstruct a pie, it's quite a good meal, really, isn't it?
I don't know. I remember seeing some reports about a golf ball size of some kind of lard that they put in them to make them taste really good. And then you've got the refined white dough flour.
Yeah.
So, and it's loaded with sodium. So actually, no, it's not that great. But in town, you've got Jester's pies,
Yes.
which are like a healthier version.
Yeah, they're yummy.
So,
Sure. All right, so we're coming just about to the end of this program. Another 5 minutes. Where are we going from here?
yeah, so a few other tips. I already talked about having a platter strategy, bringing your own kind of platter, focusing on the quality of it. I have a early Christmas party tomorrow, and there was a choice in menu, so it was going to be a set menu or a reduced menu. The set menu was 3 courses, and I thought, do we need 3 courses at lunch?
Yes,
So-
you do.
Oh no, I decided against that. So I just thought, 2 courses is plenty. If you have 3 courses,
Yeah.
100% you're going to overload
Sure.
on your calorie intake. So, pick between a starter and the main, or main and a dessert.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done there. So, and watching your carbs. So easy to go really carb heavy.
For people who don't know what a carb is, what sort of food has carbs in it?
Well, everything we've been talking about.
All the good stuff.
Pies and,
Yeah.
and chips and biscuits and I don't know, pizzas, everything with dough.
Yeah.
And flour, breads, all that kind of stuff. So, if you can focus on a lean protein and vegetables,
Yeah.
at least to start.
You
that's-
mentioned white bread. Sorry to interrupt you there. Why isn't white bread as good as brown bread, for instance? So, to me, a ham sandwich is white bread, real butter, couple of slabs of ham in it, yum, 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 yum.
Yeah.
Why would I have an alternative type of bread? What's wrong with white bread?
The thing with white bread is it's empty calories. All the nutrients have been stripped. So
Yeah.
all the fiber, all the grains, you're just left with no nutrients, white flour.
Yeah.
It can be hard to break down. You're not getting any nutritional benefit from it.
Sure.
So you eat enough of that and it can actually be a bit inflammatory in the body.
Yes, indeed.
And you get about 10 grams of sugar in 1 piece of white bread versus, I think it's 6 in about a whole grain piece. So it's almost cut in half.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of minutes to go. What's your final word for Christmas? Keeping healthy.
Yeah, stay healthy, know your weaknesses, try not to indulge too much, everything in moderation. And don't feel guilty.
No.
Don't put yourself into that guilt trip. Enjoy the holidays. My gosh, after this year, I think everyone deserves to be around
we
family
what?
and friends and sit out in the sun and enjoy some of their favorite foods. But just know there's things you can do. You keep up with your water intake, have water between drinks, eat before some meals,
Yep.
some parties, protein, vegetables, and enjoy a few brandy snaps.
Yeah. Go for a walk.
Yeah,
That's
get
right.
active. Yep.
Good on you, Heather. As always, our pleasure. You look after yourself. Have a fabulous Christmas, and we look forward to talking to you same time, same place next time.
Thanks, Ken. You too.